This is 100% true. This is my third recording of this video, which is about superstitions, cursed plays, cursed colors, and bad luck. 3 times I had broken files, error in file, lost file, card wouldn't read, battery dead, you name it. And the fact that I am wearing a red bracelet that is supposed to be for good luck didn't seem to stop it. So maybe superstitions don't work? We all have those superstitions that we do, well, maybe we don't all do, but I certainly do have some superstitions. And in opera, there are plenty of these. So I'm gonna walk you through the sort of 5 more common superstitions that you will definitely find if you work in opera, if you wanna wish, someone that works in opera a good performance, the things you should know, and then in the end, some final thoughts about whether this has appeared in my day-to-day life working in opera. Spoilers, yes it has. If you're new here, my name is Anna and I am an orchestra conductor. So, superstition number 1. Never, ever, ever, ever say good luck to someone that is about to perform. Don't do it, because all they will hear is bad luck to you, because it's supposed to be bad luck for someone to tell you good luck. I know it sounds ridiculous. I do not know where this stems from, but I do know the things that you should say instead in 5 different languages. In German, you say toi toi toi. This is believed to have 2 origins. One, that toi is a shortening of the word Teufel, which means devil, and so it's something you say to keep the devil away. The other one is very related, which is that toi 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 is sort of the sound of you spitting 3 times, which I am not going to do in front of camera, which also is meant to keep the devil away. So pretty much keeping bad vibes away and ensuring you have a good performance. In French and in some Spanish-speaking countries, you say merde or merde or mucha merde, which literally means shit. You are literally wishing someone lots of shit. But here's why. In the times of old-timey performances, people would come to the theater in carriages with horses, and they would leave the horses parked outside. And so if you had a lot of outside your theater, it meant that you had a full house, that it's sold out, people are coming, and so it's like wishing someone that you have a full house. In English, you say break a leg, which I couldn't really 100% find where this comes from. The closest thing I found is that it used to be bend a leg, and so it was wishing someone that they would have to bend to bow because they were receiving a lot of praise and applause. And in Italian, you say in bocca al lupo, which means in mouth of the wolf, which is, it comes from hunting. It's that you meet a good hunting season. I guess hunting a wolf was the best thing that could happen, but that's what you say. If you speak any other language and you want to tell us what they say in your language, please comment below. But the last thing I will say about this is that also never, ever, ever tell someone after they told you any of this, thank you. Now I will say all of this makes for very awkward social interaction, especially if it's a person that comes from the theater and a person that doesn't, and they're wishing you good luck with the best of intentions, but it's bad luck. So yeah, I got no solution for that. It's what it is. The second very widespread superstition is that if you have a bad general rehearsal, you're going to have a good premiere. I could not find an origin from, a cute story or anything like that for this superstition, and I think it's because it was probably made up by a conductor or an opera director that saw a bad general rehearsal and went, oh my god, I need to calm them down, and then told them, don't worry, this means a good premiere. And I will say 2 things. One, it works. It works. I've applied it when we've had bad general rehearsals. It makes people at ease to know that there's this superstition that means that they'll have a good premiere. And second of all, I can see psychologically why that would be a thing that would happen very often, and then people would be led to believe that's a superstition, because general rehearsals are usually full of all of the nerves before the premiere, but not that much of the concentration, the adrenaline rush that you get in the performance. So you do get a lot of mistakes from either nerves or people being tired because you've been rehearsing a lot leading to that. But then those nerves, those mistakes don't happen in the performance, hopefully, because people are more focused, because they're running with adrenaline. That's an extra level of concentration when you're performing. The third superstition is not that widespread, but it's about whistling. Whistling is a no-no on stage. And this is very hard because if you're hours and hours, through opera rehearsals, the first thing you want to do is hum or whistle some of the tunes, but you're not supposed to do this. It's supposed to be bad luck, a jinx, but it does have a very specific origin, which is that when stages started to move, to have movements and things coming up and down, they would hire sailors to move all the stuff backstage because it was all working with ropes and levers, and that's what they knew how to do. And the sailors would communicate with each other through whistles. They would have the specific whistles that meant to do this movement, throw this thing, because they didn't have walkie-talkies or any technology. And so if you whistled on stage, it could trigger some of these, technicians that were working the ropes to do a movement thinking that, that was their cue. So whistling was very dangerous. And then we stopped using sailors, but kept the superstition because aren't we smart? Now, this fourth sort of superstition or topic is a very confusing one, but I still wanted to bring it up, which is the colors. There are many, many colors that you are not supposed to wear on stage, but honestly, there's that many curses or bad luck colors related to almost any color, then you have no colors left. So I think that's why we're not doing this anymore. Really, this is the one that you're not gonna, no one's gonna look at you funny if you're wearing purple, but I do want to point them out because perhaps somewhere someone takes one of these very seriously, so here they are. In opera, mostly it's said that you're not supposed to wear purple. There's a couple of origins for this. One is that in Italy, purple was the color of funerals, so, it brought bad luck because of that. Another one says that purple is the color that the religious people would wear during Lent, and during Lent, most of theater was forbidden, so you were not supposed to wear purple in solidarity to the theater people that were forbidden from doing performances during Lent. There's this other thing about not wearing blue, which does have a fun origin, which is that blue was a very, very expensive pigment. That's why a lot of religious paintings that, portrayed the Virgin Mary or Jesus Christ had blue, because blue was a very, very expensive color because it came from a very specific, pigment. I don't know exactly what, I'll put it here. But it was very expensive, and so it was used for royalty, religious imagery. And so because the opera people, the theater company people didn't want to have to pay for blue dye for their costumes, they started this rumor that blue was bad luck, but mostly they just didn't want to pay up for blue. And the last one I want to point out before I go to some personal experiences has to do with cursed operas. So there are some cursed plays like the Scottish play, which I'll write but I won't say, for theater. But for opera, there's mainly two. One I did know and one I didn't know, and which shocked me. The one I did know is La Forza del Destino. And when you say it, you're supposed to touch wood, although I have no idea whether there's any wood in this. This opera is supposed to be cursed because when they were premiering it, in Verdi's time, they had like a year of delays because people kept getting sick. But later in the 1960s and after, when small accidents happen here and there, no one goes and says, this piece is cursed. But when that has been happening and then one big one happens, all of a sudden the piece is cursed. And the big one was that sadly a singer died while performing in the Met in La Forza del Destino. He died on stage, or he started suffering symptoms on stage and died. And the other one that surprised me is Tosca. And it surprised me because it's my favorite opera. I've seen it many, many times. And when I started thinking, hang on, I've been in productions of Tosca, assisting or observing, and nothing has happened, I realized that I have seen things happening. Namely, in one production that I was observing, the soprano went ill after a couple of rehearsals, and they had to replace her with, I am not kidding you, 3 days. 3 days before performance, they were flying someone else. And this was a big opera house, there were stakes. But in any case, the curse for Tosca comes again from a lot of incidents that happened, but here they're a bit more related to the plot, to the actions, because the last scene in Tosca, spoilers, has her jumping to her death. And so when they have to do this on stage, they usually have her jumping backstage to like a mattress or something that catches her. But this has led to many incidents, like a soprano breaking both her legs doing this jump. Eva Marton broke her jaw apparently in a scene where she is wrestling with Scarpia, who is the, enemy, the evil person of the opera. There's several wigs that caught fire, probably in Act 2 when they're at the dinner table, one of them being Maria Callas's wig. All the things that could happen if you perform Tosca. Now, personally, have I encountered any of this, actually encountered any of this while working? Yes, I have. First of all, I will say that I do come from a family of artists, so there's a bunch of things that I just cannot do because it's, it goes from generation to generation and it escapes logic. I realize there's no reasoning behind any of this, but for example, you cannot give me salt to my hand. You're supposed to leave it on the table and I grab it. If you give it to my hand and I take it, it's extremely bad luck and I have to revert it by throwing salt over my shoulders. And as you can imagine, all of this is a very unacceptable society human behavior. So you would think I am very well versed in superstitions and they wouldn't catch me off guard when I started entering the opera world. But that's not the case, because one time, imagine this, I was very young, my first time in Europe, I come from far away, and I get to watch rehearsals at the Hamburg State Opera. I am so excited, it's all in German, I'm trying to get by, and someone receives me very nicely and tells me we're gonna just cross the stage and then you're gonna find a place, on the stalls to observe the rehearsals. Yes, of course, I follow this person and I'm about to cross the stage and she turns and looks at me dead serious and goes, what are you doing? Please take your jacket off. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I took the jacket off. I crossed the stage. I sat down. I forgot about it because, it was Simón Bocanegra and I was very excited. But then I got back home and I'm like, what was that? And when I looked, I found out that in Germany, and I haven't seen this, in every theater, but apparently in this one, or for this person, it was very much a rule. You're never supposed to be on stage with your jacket or hat, which no one wears hats, so with your jacket. In any case, if you're ever at the Hamburg State Opera, or maybe it was just this person, but this did happen to me. I did encounter a superstition acting in real time. So that is all for me. If you're seeing this, is that I have conquered against the curse that this video had, because believe me, it did. And I will see you next time.